Dad thought he'd moved on from his late wife before unearthing this email. By the late 2000s, Chris Martin had just about everything he could have wanted, until an unpredictable tragedy skidded his life's plans to a halt. As he adapted to a new normal, he uncovered an email written by his late wife that was never meant for him. His mind reeling, he wrote out an urgent message for the world. The dating game. When he was in his early 20s, Chris Martin from Melbourne, Australia, was single. Hoping to launch him into the dating game, Chris's good friend introduced him to a cousin named Renee. The two did not click. A second chance. Years after the introduction, however, after more than a handful of casual meetings, Chris and Renee ended up at the same party. It was there, hidden away from the thrum of the music and the chattering of friends, that the two kissed for the first time. A long honeymoon. Soon, the two were in love and fully in the beautiful honeymoon phase. Every moment was exciting, every touch beautiful, but for them, the phase never ended, and in just a few years, they made the ultimate commitment. Together, the two wed in a beautiful ceremony, and within years, they were raising a baby girl named Grace. In 2011, the couple delighted in the news that Renee was pregnant once more, this time with a boy. The honeymoon continued. The bad news. Until doctors delivered the bad news, Renee had kidney cancer, and in the span of a doctor's sentence, the couple went from planning their family to planning how to tell their 6-year-old daughter that Mum was very sick. I remember the day telling Grace that we didn't know whether we were going to be able to beat the germs in Mum's belly. Chris said, if we couldn't, that meant that Mummy's body wouldn't be able to live anymore, and she'd die. Putting it out there, the conversation was impossible both in its weight and its complexity. Yet it paled in comparison to the 2013 conversation Chris had with his now 2 children. Albie was born in 2011. At just 39 years old, their mother was dead. Processing. Devastated and single again, Chris pulled himself together for his kids. But trying to be both a mother and father for them while processing his own confusion and grief nearly drove the dad to insanity. What he missed most. I miss the companionship, the shared load, the daily debrief, he recalled. Those little moments in life are the things you tend to not think about, but they're the things you miss the most. He knew he needed a way to heal. Focus. The kids helped. They gave him a purpose beyond himself, but more importantly, kept him focused on the present. Not that hopeless, Renee-sized void staring at him from the future. But he needed something else. He needed a place to bear his soul. Just a dad. So 3 years after Renee's death, the Australian native started a blog, Just a Dad. 1 part self-therapy, 1 part explanation to his family and friends. The blog helped single dads everywhere cope with loss and grief. Moving on. Chris wrote and raised his kids, trying to build a functioning home with a crucial piece missing. He never forgot Renee, but as the years passed, the exact sound of her voice faded to a memory. Finding joy again. Time and writing ever so weakly stitched the wound of Renee's passing, and slowly, Chris found happiness in raising his kids. He could smile again. That was until 2018, when he faced yet another impossible moment in the grieving process. Mourning guilt. Chris chronicled that moment in a 2018 blog post titled Mourning Guilt. I was logged into Renee's email trying to find some information, the dad wrote. I was simply skimming the contents when I found something. A surprise party. In this particular email chain, Renee had been conspiring with Chris's family about a surprise 40th birthday party she planned to throw him in 2014. Even dying of cancer, she had still been thinking of celebrating her husband. Private words. What exactly Renee wrote about her husband, Chris kept to himself. Those were personal words he would cherish forever. But he shared that she'd so beautifully written about how much he meant to her. Hearing her voice. It was as if I could hear her voice, Chris wrote, something I haven't heard for so long, in the words printed on the screen before me. As he read, every emotion Chris had held back and suppressed over 5 years returned. Overcome. I was overcome by the same desperate sadness I remember so vividly after she passed, he wrote. I immediately felt the dreadful hollowness of being alone, of never being able to have exactly what I once did again, he continued. So much guilt. The tears flowed and I felt terrible guilt, he wrote. Guilt that I hadn't thought or felt these things for some time. Guilt that I had seemingly forgone these feelings in the pursuit of normality and, dare I say it, happiness. Guilt that I'm here and not her. It too passes. For his readers, Chris confronted that guilt. Like everything else in life, it too passes, he wrote. But it serves as a reminder, like a hammer to my kneecap type reminder, that there is more to losing a loved one than the anticipated sadness, loneliness, and longing. No answers. There are no answers, he added, no solutions or no ways to manipulate the grief journey. It just has to happen, however it pans out. I just have to trust that it'll be okay. It's comforting to know I still care. Thanks. Before Chris posted his blog, he gave one last thank you to the woman he so dearly loved. Even writing all of this down has been cathartic and I feel lighter already, he wrote. So I guess I should say thanks, Renee, for still helping me out after all of these years. It's cleansing, healing, normal. Chris's dance with grief connected so many other suffering single fathers who were lost without their passed-on partners. But sharing his story, he hoped to show men that it's okay to be vulnerable after a loss. It's cleansing, healing, normal.